This is your dose of daily market wisdom with master trader Nick Santiago. Starting from humble beginnings, Nick has been beating the markets for over 2 decades. He shares with you his take on the profitable trades that will have you moving towards financial freedom in no time at all. To see an in-depth review of his track record and much more, go to inthemoneystocks.com. Welcome. This is your daily dose of daily market wisdom with master trader Nick Santiago. I'm Kerry Lutz. Today is 12/15/2020, and this is show number 176. So major stock indices are holding up pretty well after fading yesterday, aren't they?
Yeah, so far today we have the market slightly higher. It's not a big update by any stretch, but the one bit of strength that I'm noticing right off the bat is the Russell 2000. So all in all, they're holding up pretty well. Remember, this is a quadruple witching options expiration week, so many of the popular stocks could be all over the map. They could be up, they could be down. And again, we're not going to get settlement until Friday, so these things have a way to go. It's only Tuesday now. People need to understand there's a lot of institutional game playing going on out here, and that will go on especially when there's light volume. And this week so far, we have seen very, very light volume.
That's interesting. So obviously I've known this for a while, but for the boys, as we call them, the masters of the universe, whatever they like to be known as, when you have light volume conditions in a market, it makes it particularly susceptible to manipulation and their games.
Yeah, you could just move. You can move markets kind of anywhere you want. It doesn't take a whole lot to do. And what happens, like even yesterday, we had a pretty good fade after the first hour and a half, and the market just really faded into the close. Then today you get a pretty big gap up. Now we're fading a little bit at the moment. So, when you have this light volume, you just got to always be aware that it doesn't take a lot to bully the markets. When you have a little bit of a heavier volume, it takes a little bit more to push it around. But light volume, it's very, very easy to push it up and down with really, very little effort.
That's an interesting phenomena that I've seen repeated over and over again, which makes those holiday, the day before or the week of the holiday markets so potentially threatening to an investor who doesn't get what's going on, trader.
It really does, and we see a lot historically speaking in the middle of December. You see the market muddle a little bit. You always see the market chop around. It's never a clear-cut move. And then, you get that Santa Claus rally the last week, going into the holidays. So, we'll see if we're setting up for that. We could be. We'll know more by Friday.
Yeah. It never ceases to amaze, does it? So big stocks like Apple showing pretty good strength, huh?
Well, Apple today is a big surprise because this stock has been a laggard, but today it's on fire. So Apple catching a very, very good bid this morning. It looks like some report came out saying that Apple suppliers are seeing strength, and Apple iPhone production is expected, or they're aiming to increase the production by 30% in the first half of 2021. So you have some leading Apple suppliers like Skyworks and Cirrus Logic, Qualcomm, and a few others doing very well today. The one thing I want to just point out, and I think everybody should take note of this, is that Apple stock is still below the September 2nd top. If you remember, that was a short-term pivot top that I thought was going to take place. We got a high in September. Markets pulled back into late October, and then they rallied up to new highs. But Apple has not gotten back up to that old high. So this stock is still a laggard, believe it or not. And, for finally, it's starting to catch a little bit of a bid here. But it is still below the September 2nd top. And that was a price high, I believe, of around 137.98. So here we are today trading at around 126, actually a little bit lower, 125.50 now. Stock is falling a little bit. So pretty interesting to see that Apple is not leading the markets higher where the other major indexes have recently made new highs.
Yeah, that is interesting. And, well, I guess it kind of fits with the fact that pretty much the leadership of the market has shifted.
Yes. We have seen, money come out of technology. We've seen the Russell 2000 take over leadership. The Russell's been the strong horse. Even today, the Russell's up 1%. So it's a strong horse once again. And, I always tell everybody, as long as the Russell is leading, you don't really have a lot of fears out here. When the Russell starts to lag or starts to roll over, then you really want to be concerned. Another positive for today that I'm seeing is the semiconductors. Now, they were hit a little bit last week, but the semiconductors are showing very good strength today. They're up basically about 1.5% overall today in the stocks.
Interesting. So any other sectors that really stand out to you?
Well, today I'm noticing that we have financials again holding up. They're not, screaming to the upside, but there's never really a problem when the financials are acting well. And then you have energy stocks, which aren't really that bad today. They're down just a few pennies. So, energy hanging in there, financials hanging in there. That's a pretty good sign. Then you have retail pretty strong, but that's expected to do well with the holidays. And industrial stocks are hanging in there today. So I don't think there's anything that's a standout. But what I would say is that for the most part, markets are holding up pretty well.
All right. And hey, none of our discussions would be complete without a discussion of precious metals, which are up substantially today. It's amazing, Nick. They knock it down, and then 2 days later, it comes back.
It's like Weeble Wobbles. You just can't knock them down, and they just keep popping back up. So today you have the GLD up $1.98. Looks like gold futures up $21 right now, trading at around $18.53. And then you have silver futures up 51 cents today. That's a 2% gainer for silver. So a very, very good move there.
Yeah. So, but it's still in the consolidation pattern, right?
That's right. The consolidation pattern is still in play. Nothing has changed there. That's why I tell everybody, when you see it getting hit hard, don't get overly excited, because it usually will pop up a little bit and just continue that backing and filling. But overall, it's making a very, very good longer-term consolidation pattern for a lot more upside to come.
Yeah, well, the relative strength of gold here and silver has been pretty remarkable when you consider everything else that's been taking place in the market.
Well, this is like a fairy tale market, right? There's so many geopolitical events taking place. There's so much intervention going on with the central bankers. And by the way, the Federal Reserve, the Federal Open Market Committee, is meeting today and tomorrow. So the Federal Reserve will have some comments tomorrow. Now, we're not expecting them to make any real drastic changes, but they could change the verbiage. So we always want to be aware of that. That could move markets a little bit. But today, I don't really see many issues.
Today, no issues, and that's what's interesting. It's such an emotional, really fearful market. Everybody's waiting for the next bad news to hit. But in the meantime, the vaccines are shipping, right?
Yeah, it looks like the vaccines are being distributed right now as we speak. And again, we'll see how that takes place and how that goes. We'll know a little bit more about that, I would think, by the new year. But it looks like the vaccines are being rolled out.
Well, you know what they say, Nick? What's good for Moderna is good for George Soros and the global elite. I was going to say the United States. It used to be what's good for GM is good for the nation. But now maybe it's what's good for Pfizer is good for the nation.
Yeah. Well, we'll know more about all of that soon. I assure you that much.
Yeah, I guess. I'm a little skeptical because, look, in 60, 70 years of messing around trying to find a cure to the common cold, which is a coronavirus, they can't do it, all right? When trying to find a vaccine for the flu to immunize everybody, because tens of thousands of people die every year from it, they can't do that. But this novel coronavirus, man, it's just amazing what modern science can do when Trump sets their mind to it.
Yeah, it looks like a modern miracle, so they're calling it. But I'm a little bit. I'm always a little bit suspect of all of that stuff. So we'll see where we go, in due time here.
Yes, we'll see where we go, all right. And where we're going right now is off the air, so make sure you go over and take a look at inthemoneystocks.com. That is Nick's site where his total trading record is there for your inspection. Make sure you subscribe to the Twitter feeds at ITMS, at Nick Santiago 01, at Kerry Lutz. And Nick, we will pick up where we left off tomorrow.
Sounds good, Kerry.
And so concludes another episode of Daily Market Wisdom with Master Trader Nick Santiago. Be sure to go to his website, inthemoneystocks.com. Don't forget the Twitter feeds at ITMS and at Nick Santiago 01.